Welcome to Living D-Free with Tamika Talks, where we focus on helping you live an authentic and financially free life, where you get to build your dreams. This unique show speaks specifically to Black women about money, while celebrating our strength, our culture, and our journey to financial freedom. Join me as we witness women and men leading us into the future. Living D-Free with Tamika Talks is a window into your best D-Free life. By embodying the D-Free way of living, gaining new tools to build a new future for yourself, and joining a community conversation where we share stories, learn, and invest in the future. Each episode explores topics from our quarterly magazine and includes interviews for people who, like you, are on their way to living their best lives. Tamika Talks is going to speak to women about our greatness, our success, our staying spiritually grounded, and remaining focused on our life's work. In this episode, we'll talk entrepreneurs and mentorship, and we'll do some financial checkups. Living D-Free will take you on the road with me. You'll see where I've been, where D-Free has broken new ground, and how D-Free is helping others to get in the black. Hello and welcome to Living D-Free with Tamika Talks. I'm your host, Tamika, and I'm so excited to bring you our first episode with my special guest, Miss Sonia Lewis, the student loan doctor. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you. Let's tell our audience a little about who you are. Like, I know who you are, but tell us who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So Sonia Lewis, born and raised Philadelphia.
Awesome.
So super excited to be here. The Student Loan Doctor is my brand, the company that I started by accident. So by accident, I always say that. But nothing's by accident if you really think about it, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm super excited because the platform and the brand really just came out of a need to help others with their student loans.
Girl, can you help me? I got a whole law degree and an MBA and I'm still paying for it, but it's okay. I'm on track, so I don't need help right now. But tell us a little bit. I mean, student loans is such a pervasive issue for African Americans, for everybody in the country, ideally, but for African American women specifically, you know, we're the most educated in the country, but we, you know, education comes at a cost. But what's your niche? What sets the student loan doctor apart from everything that's happening in the marketplace?
So I think I really appreciate what you said. So African American women are disproportionately affected by student loan debt, right? So I said they didn't say that part on like Love and Hip Hop. That's my favorite joke. So most degree, but also the most student loan debt. So when you think about, you know, when we think about wealth in the African American community, right, we think about what shows up to block those things. Student loan debt.
Right.
And so really our niche particularly is to empower women with their student loan debt journey, because we know that student loan debt can hinder things such as home buying or having good credit and even legacy, right? I think sometimes we're so stuck on self that we never think about legacy and our children, our children's children. So the platform really is to make people comfortable, to start the conversation, and to give tangible solutions to their student loan debt.
So assuming that my law degree is there, the MBA is there, I got this bomb job, I'm making all this money, but I have not started paying off my student loans, and I get this little red letter in the mail that says, girl, get your life together. Whatever color it turns, it's like, girl, get your life together. So, I mean, what does the student loan doctor offer? Like, how do people interact with you? What are some of the services that you provide to people?
So you're going to engage with us in two ways. So the first way would be you might just want good information, right? Because we do a lot of free webinars, podcasts, a lot of live seminars that are free, right? So we don't want there to be a barrier to good information. And this information is already out there, so I'm always, you know, first to say that. But sometimes people need to process the information the way that's best for them.
Right.
So we make it fun, we make it light, we make it easily accessible, right?
Okay.
So then the second track would be if you're like, you know, I need some help. I am just a little nervous that the paper was now white to yellow to purple, right? If they do red, that could be a new color, right? But the papers change color in accordance to how much or how far behind you are, right? So I always tell people don't underestimate two words, shame and fear. So most people are ashamed because I have these degrees, right? I am established at my job. I always tell people when people see you, when you show up by the name brands of what you put on your bag. You show up by your purse, but you never show up by your bank account.
Right.
And so we can't see credit and we can't see bank account when we meet people. And so therefore a lot of people are walking around with this thing on their back that's invisible to others. So if you're coming to us and you're engaging with us, you're probably at that point where you're like, you know what, I just need some professional help. I need some support. And so our job is to really coach people through the process of repayment. There's so many nuances with it, and it's different for everyone. It could be really, really super simple.
Right.
Or it could be really, really super challenging for someone. It just depends on where we meet them in their journey.
Excellent. So consulting, teaching, content, So what's the biggest lesson you've learned in doing this work? I'm sure you've seen a lot from your clients and from the industry generally. Like, what's the biggest thing you've learned?
So the biggest lesson I've learned is probably to not underestimate my gift, right? So when I first started, because again, I told you it was like an accidental business, right? I was helping people after church just because we were going through other areas in finance, but this was the one that the program I was going through could not address. Okay. And so I was like, oh, everyone knows this. I took for granted the things that I knew how to do from my work history. And then when I realized that it was having an impact, I think when I got an invitation to be a part of a forum at the White House, that was big. Oh, wow. So when that happened, I was like, oh, this might be something. And then, you know what I always tell people always can see the gifts in you before you see it in yourself.
Right. Being a woman in business, like, what do you think the biggest challenge was for you going from just offering what you do as a service to actually turning it into a business?
I'll tell you, starting this business, growing this business, and transforming it to what it is, I was very, very like shy, and I'm always super humble about everything. But I realized that there is no room in playing small. Absolutely. When you have a really big goal and really big impact to make.
What's one of your biggest misconceptions around that you experience with African Americans and repaying student loan debt?
That they don't have to pay it back, right? I don't know how many times I hear that, like, so I really got to pay this back? Yes. And so I think that really is just the biggest myth that we're dispelling. Two, the other thing is that people get so burdened by the payment that they see that comes in the mail. So the thing that comes in the mail is what's called a standard repayment. So that is the number that in 10 years, if this were to go away, it would be this number. Now you do have options beyond 10 years, up to 30 if you need it. So it becomes more affordable. But when people get that 10-year repayment, oh no, I can't do that.
Crap out of me, girl. I was like, this is a whole mortgage. I'm not doing that.
And then that's what happens. So people walk away, and then it's over.
So this is funny. So I always say that as African American people, we are special. We are a special group. We're the most uniquely situated people on the planet. Have there been any strategies or approaches or things outside of not thinking we have to pay student loans back that, from an African American perspective, really shift the way we deal with managing student loan debt?
So I think what I would really like to see, and through my platform and through others, is that starting the conversation early on, or even the clients that I have at my table that are age 30, age 40, helping them understand, like, so we're going through this with your loans. What would it look like to not have to go through this for your child? Like, we don't want to see your child at the student loan doctor's table. Right. And so really helping people understand affordable, tangible ways to start saving for college, being proactive in that role now is super important.
So tell us, I mean, you have all this great information to share and all these great resources. How do people stay connected with you? How do we find the Student Loan Doctor?
Now, if you're following us on social media, Instagram is our friend. We love Instagram, the Student Loan Doctor. So really, that's my page, to be quite honest, as a brand, as myself, because I really am so transparent, authentic about showing my journey through this, because you might be following for a couple reasons: student loan tips, support, help, but you might be following to be inspired. Right. I also get a lot of nice DMs and responses like, girl, you are doing it, you are my hero, things of that nature. It's just because it was a little girl that decided to dream, and then you're on the journey with me, right? Absolutely. And then iTunes, we do have a podcast that's being rebranded, the Student Loan Doctor. So that is where you would probably listen in to actually get tangible tips and strategies for your repayment. Bite size. I don't like long podcasts because I know my attention span. How long is the drive? 20 minutes. Right. So we try to keep it really cute and sweet there. And then if you need help, drpleasehelpme.com would be it's just a cute little website, drpleasehelpme.com, so people can go themselves and get the support they need. And then the thing is, we have a free call. So is it for you? Are you for us? And then can we help? And then we just go from there. So many avenues and ways to engage with us. So many free ways as well, because we don't want everything to cost. Right. I always say that knowledge to help others should be free. Specific knowledge about someone's information, that's where you would charge.
Sure, I'm using that. I'm going to write that down for my business. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Living dfree with Tamika Talks. It's been an honor to work with you. It's truly been a pleasure. You guys stay connected to Sonia at the Student Loan Doctor on Instagram. And be sure to keep watching Living dfree with Tamika Talks. We'll be right back.
This is Michelle Charles, and I'm living D-Free with Tamika Talks.
Welcome back to Living dfree with Tamika Talks. I'm your host, Tamika, and I am wrapping up the day at the diner with one of my very special guests, Miss Michelle Charles, to give us some real tea about money. I'm so excited to have you. I mean, so we live in a world of social media, and as a millennial, you guys are on your phones all the time, constantly seeing new things. How do you manage your money in this culture, like living in this world?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to shop. I still like to go out and all of that, but I've grown up a lot more just over the last few years, probably the last like 2-3 years especially, ever since I bought my home.
What? Like, rewind. Come back. So you bought a home?
I bought a condo. Wow. So I am a homeowner.
That is awesome.
Yes.
She's a homeowner. She's a college graduate. She has a job. She saves her money. She still looks good. Her nails are done. So you have to frame this up for your friends. We're out at brunch. We're here at the diner. If you had to give me Michelle Charles millennial money moves, like, what are your top 3 tips for getting this right?
Okay, the first thing that I would say to do, I would challenge you for just 1 week to write down everything that you spend your money on.
So let me write down coffee and brunch and
all
of that for today.
Yes,
okay.
Write down everything that you spend your money on just for 1 week. And at the end of that week, look at it. And you'll be able to kind of categorize how you're spending your money. I mean, I know for me, when like the first time I did it, I realized I spent a lot of money on food. That's where most of my money was going towards. It wasn't, it wasn't necessarily going out all the time. It was more so food. Like, so buying breakfast, lunch, dinner every single day, 7 days a week, it adds up. So when you see how much money you spend on other stuff, you realize, oh, I actually do have extra money, because we're quick to say, I don't have it, but somehow you find a way to go to brunch on Sunday, or you find a way to catch a train to get into the city, or whatever the case is. Like, you find a way to do all of that other stuff. So I think after that, once you kind of get your priorities together about what it is that you're saving for, the next thing that I would say, and this is something that helped me out a lot, I have my paycheck automatically split. So every single 2 weeks when I get paid, automatically I have a certain amount of money that goes to my savings that it just goes there, and I manage based on the rest of what my check is. And it's easy because I don't have to do anything,
and you don't see it.
I don't see it. So ADP or whoever's doing it, they're automatically putting my money into my savings account, and then what gets deposited into my checking is what I have for me.
So we are wrapping up today with dfree Living and Tamika Talks. And Michelle, it's just been truly a pleasure to hear your money story and hear you tell the millennials out there that it is possible to brunch and lunch and buy a house all on a budget. So thank you so much for being with Living dfree and Tamika Talks today. It's been great.
Thank you for having me.